Eradication, or uccatana. Eradication drives a victim from his home, village, or kingdom or country. The target will wander and become a stranger in his own land, perpetually a foreigner wherever he goes, no matter where he lies. The root is this chut with a prefix ud, and it means something like to drive away or break away or drive off, but like literally to like make a break. So the person is broken from all of their family and social ties. Now, psychologically, they describe these people wandering around in a degenerative mental state. And some interpreters have thought that uccatana actually means stupefaction. But I would say that wandering perpetually in a confused manner does look a little stupefied. So the odd thing is we find our first ethical injunction. Throughout all of these lists of rituals, we don't see any reason, any like times you're supposed to do these rituals or when you're not supposed to do these rituals. We do see this statement. Listen up. One should practice forcible eradication and slaying, so this would be uccatana and marana, or murder, by means of which home, field, so that's land, wife, wealth, and children are seized. The reason to drive someone off, or the reason to kill them, is to take their place, to usurp their place in their family, to take their wealth, to take their wife, to become their children's fathers. The only ethical argument I've found, or argument about ethics in this, is that don't do this to just anybody. You should only do it when you're trying to basically take over their lives, which is intriguing and kind of terrifying. So what are some eradication rites? Well, we hear one mantra to the god Rudra, who's a very old god found in the Vedic traditions. He's often associated with Shiva now. So Om, reference to the glorious gape-mawed Rudra, immediately eradicates so-and-so from his own clan and progeny. Eradicate, kill, kill, burn, burn, cook, cook. So that'd be mara, mara, pacha, pacha, daha, daha, pat swaha ta ta. All right, so on that mantra, what are we going to do with it? Well, we read about how if you go and take a bunch of mustard seeds that you see above and use them to worship on a Shiva linga, that's that thing down there, the large black sort of obelisk. So you smear the Shiva linga with funeral ash, so bodily ashes, the Brahmanandi plant, and white mustard seeds. This is accompanied by the mantra repetition from above to charge the mustard seeds that you were using worshiping for deadly power. On a Saturday, the mustard seeds are deposited in the house of the victim. Consequently, the enemy is eradicated unto his own death. Now, there's another ritual that I found somewhere that talked about removing mustard seeds from someone's house to keep them from being affected by magic, but they're not clearly connected here. But mustard seeds are often used in these rituals. Also, so worshiping of Shiva linga means, there's some Shiva associations here. The majority of these rites are associated with the god Shiva. However, there's also a tradition in eradication rites of using consecrated stakes, like we saw at the beginning of this lecture when I read that quote to you, the cha-cha-cha one. In this one, take up a 4-angula long stake made from udumbara wood, consecrate it with the eradication mantra, and bury the stake underneath the victim's bed, causing the victim to flee. In another method, on a Tuesday, it's always Tuesday, the sorcerer should bury a 4-angula long stake made from human bone and then urinate over the spot where it is buried. The victim will be driven away. Try that one. Attraction, or akarshana. Now, attraction rituals are both sort of physical and psychological, and they mostly target human beings, though they will do things like drawing toward you like herd animals, like you might want to collect. And surprisingly, there's a number of akarshana snakes, so attraction rituals for poisonous, deadly snakes. That's a whole other ballgame. I can give a whole other lecture on that. All right, physical attraction pulls a victim to the vicinity of the sorcerer, even from a long ways away. Psychological attraction rites fascinate or bewitch, creating a hypnotic focus or pull toward the sorcerer. Targets are mostly women to be seduced or enemies to be murdered. These victims are drawn by an unseen force, like the tractor beam of science fiction. Tractor beam is actually shortened form of a tractor beam in sci-fi literature. All right, so the term is derived from and krish, which means sort of to pull toward. The root krish means to plow or to make furrows, but in this, you got to remember that Indians had like a long curved hand plow that you dig into the ground and pull toward you. And so when we think of a plow, we think of a V-shaped implement with handles on it that's pulled by a horse that is pulled and breaks through the earth. Let's think of this as a plow that works more like a hoe in gardening. So akarshana resonates with this English translation of tractor. So the prefix ad or ut is attached to the Latin-derived track from tractus, meaning to pull forth, to pull along like a sci-fi tractor beam. So akarshana writes, what are they? What do they do? So our first mantra that we have is Om, a reference to the primordial man, Adi Purusha, which can be a number of figures or just a high god. Attract so-and-so. Do it. Swaha. There's this great ritual here that I quite like. One should inscribe this, the mantra, in his blood using his ring finger, like this. Now, this is the Tarjana Angali, the cursing finger. This is the ring finger or the naming finger. That's the middle finger. That's the biggest finger. The biggest or the best finger is the thumb. And this is just called the little finger. It's the baby finger there. So there are some similarities in the way we name our fingers. But I'm a big fan of Tarjana Angali. This one. This is the pointing finger, the scolding finger, and the cursing finger. But anyway, so we're using this finger. The name of the victim is inscribed in the middle of the mantra using the sorcerer's own blood. And the mantra has been made into like an amulet on a piece of paper, should be deposited in a vessel filled with liquor. Then the victim will become attracted. This is the declared result of the ritual. Because the spell is difficult even for the gods, not just anybody should be taught that ritual. So the idea is you take the essence of the person and instill it into this amulet that is said to bring someone forth, and then you dump it in this pot of liquor. And I like to think that the person shows up all soused and drunk and with loving on their minds when they show up, all soused from being bathed in the liquor.